my channel. As you guys know, I'm 25 weeks pregnant, and today I thought it'd be fun to talk about 5 things that people do not talk about in regards to being pregnant. Yeah. Let's go there. Before I got pregnant, this is my 2nd pregnancy, and I was so clueless. Everything that I experienced in my pregnancy was such a surprise to me. I just had no idea what to expect. And I was on Google so much. Googling, is this normal? Oh my goodness. So today we're gonna be walking the line a little bit with some of these, and we're gonna be talking about 5 things that people do not tell you about being pregnant. So without further ado, let's jump right into them. Okay, first off, we're gonna start talking about hormones. I mean, hormones are really the driving force of pregnancy and being able to grow a baby. The hormones are so crazy when you're pregnant, and I feel like before you ever experience pregnancy, the idea of a hormonal pregnant woman almost seems like a joke. Unfortunately, there is definitely a negative stigma with hormones, and I kind of understand, but the same big bad hormones that make us maybe irritable or extra emotional are also the ones that make us incredible, beautiful, sensitive, emotional women. Hormones play such a big part in our womanhood, and I think it's important to embrace that. But okay, my point is, if you've not been pregnant and you have experienced hormones on your monthly cycle, being pregnant is like a whole nother level. There's so many times I feel things and I'm just like crying or upset, and I told my husband, I can recognize it's not me. I can recognize I feel so sad or so overwhelmed or hopeless or just like all these feelings, and I just can feel it's my hormones. It's not some sort of circumstance that's causing me to feel this way, and I can address the cause of it and it'll be better. One thing that I have experienced in my pregnancies is wanting to be extra close to my husband and like wanting to cuddle and stuff. It's not that I'm not normally a cuddly person, but I'm really generally fine doing my own thing. When I am pregnant, I want to be near my husband. It's this like deep longing to be close to him, to have him near me, and sometimes to be cuddled by him. These things that I'm normally not seeking out after. It makes total sense, like biologically, to want to be near your husband when you're pregnant because you're about to have a baby and you're going to need a lot of help. So in that sense, it totally makes sense, but it's so weird to actually experience this. I remember this in my first pregnancy, and then it's been the same with this one, but I just want him to be close. I don't want him to be gone or out of the house. I just want him near me a lot, and it's just really strange to feel that when intellectually it's not like you know what I mean? Also, in general with hormones, I tend to be so sensitive to just other things. The whole mama bear thing definitely comes out more when someone not wrongs me, but I just have more, I'm not aggressive at all. I'm not an aggressive person. That would not be a word to describe me. But I just have more of an edge to me, I guess, than I normally do. And it's just so weird. So many times I say to describe pregnancy, it's like I feel like I'm trapped inside of my body and inside of these hormones. Like it just feels like something is just running you over in a sense. And I mean, there's so many things I love about being pregnant. Don't get me wrong, but so many times you're just experiencing so many different symptoms. It just feels like you've been taken over. Okay, I'm going way in depth on this one, but I just had no idea the level of hormones one could experience while pregnant. So that was one thing. The second thing has to do with sex. I hate how culture always talks about sex in such a poor light, you know, people sleeping around and all this stuff. So I just don't see a problem in me, a married woman, talking about sex. So that's why I'm going to talk about it with you guys. But pregnancy can really affect your sex drive. Same with breastfeeding. I could do a whole video on that. All of the hormones and everything really affect sex and your sex drive. My experience this pregnancy has been different than last. But this pregnancy, sex has been so much more enjoyable, I feel like, than it's ever been. And I know that sounds like TMI, but I don't know, I just would never have expected that. I will not go into detail by any means. I just had no idea that sex could be more enjoyable when you're pregnant, or your sex drive, how it could be affected. My sex drive has been lower during pregnancy and higher. It's just weird too to me how my pregnancies have been different with that. But that is something that I had no idea about, and I thought I'd share it with you in case you plan on getting pregnant, or in case you're experiencing this as well. That is one thing that definitely surprised me this time around. The third thing I want to talk about is feeling comfortable in your skin. I don't know what your experience has been if you are pregnant, but I feel like you can either be more comfortable in your skin and it can be a big surprise to you, or you can feel less comfortable in your skin. I've never naturally had like a super flat or slim stomach. I mean, there are some points in my life where it's been more slim than others, but I'm not someone with like a super flat stomach, or I don't know, I feel like when I used to be in a bikini, I would be more self-conscious of that area more than other areas. I know we all have our things, but but there are definitely times where I felt pregnant and I just felt so much more comfortable and confident, just because it sounds kind of weird to talk about, but to have a bump there, it's not like you have a pudgy stomach, you know, have a baby bump. So you can wear more fitted clothing or things that show off your stomach, and maybe you're less self-conscious of them. And that's something I never really thought about before I became pregnant. It was just nice to not ever think about my stomach and how it looked. Does that make sense? But I do have to say, towards the end of my pregnancy, things went the other way. If I'm talking about my last pregnancy, I think it really related to how uncomfortable I physically felt, like in my own skin, not visually or how I looked, but I just physically was in so much pain and so uncomfortable that looking at myself like in a bathing suit or whatever, because I was pregnant in the summer, I just was like, ugh, you know, like that's how I saw myself. But it's not because I visually thought I looked awful or whatever, it's just how I was physically feeling. Does that make sense? So I guess my point is, the way you feel in your body and your skin, you may be more confident, or you may be expecting to be more confident and just feel more uncomfortable, because your body does change in a lot of ways. I mean, your breasts change, your nipples change, like so many things change or darken or get bigger or get smaller. Like I've heard that your butt gets flatter. My friend told me that when you're pregnant. I don't know if that's true. Is that true for you because your hips are getting wider? There's just so many changes. So that has been another part of pregnancy that I wasn't really expecting. The next thing is that simply everyone's pregnancies are different. So many times you have this idealized version of pregnancy where you have this beautiful bump and you have a pregnancy glow and beautiful pregnancy hair. And sometimes your experience is the total opposite of that. Some women have a lot of breakouts during their pregnancy from the hormones. Can I see? Okay, this is my baby. You say hi? Okay, mommy's talking about pregnancy. Did you have fun with daddy at the beach? I know a lot of women feel guilty for not enjoying their pregnancy the whole way through. And I guess I wanted to use this point to say, don't feel guilty. I mean, just with life, we all do the best that we can to enjoy what we've been given. And it goes with motherhood too, but so many times there are struggles and there are the hormones and there are, like, I've been so itchy lately. That's been something that's really been hard for me. And it makes it hard to enjoy it, but we just do the best that we can. I'm gonna go down. She's just right here. Say hi. We just do the best that we can in enjoying it. So if your pregnancy has a lot of challenges, I mean, maybe you have gestational diabetes or something like that, accept the challenges and do your best to enjoy it. And know that it might not be the idealized version of pregnancy you have in your mind. Because again, there's so many things about pregnancy that aren't talked about, that aren't pretty or glamorous, or maybe kind of gross, or just things that people aren't broadcasting on their Facebooks or on Twitter or in their YouTube videos. So try and be open throughout your pregnancy and embrace the different changes of your body and things like that are going on. Mama. No, sweetie. Please don't. No, do not touch that right there, sweetie. Okay, my daughter is kind of contained by my husband. But there are also many women who do not have any issues at all, and your experience is totally valid too, and just enjoy the heck out of your pregnancy if that... She's crying for me. She's with me like all day long, every day. And she wants me. Like, my husband gives me like an hour to myself, and here she is crying for me, guys. That's what it's like to be a mom. Yeah, I've also heard of women who have such an easy pregnancy and they have literally no problems. And if that's your pregnancy, if you are not having any trouble, don't feel like your experience is less valid, or just embrace it for what it is, enjoy it, go do the things that you love to do, and just accept your pregnancy journey for being your pregnancy journey. The last thing that I want to throw in here is actually about labor. And that is that labor does not have to be terrible. And what I'm talking about mostly is our mindset. There's so much fear around birth. And I think this idea and concept of a fearless birth is gaining traction. But I looked into this before my first child was born, and I'm so glad I did it. And I just wanted to throw this in there if you have not kind of thought about this or heard of this before. But one teacher who talks a lot about this is May Gaskin. I don't know if it's May Gaskin or May Gaskin. I'll spell her name right here, but you can YouTube her. She has a TED Talk and she has some really excellent books. But taking the element of fear out of labor and really trusting your body is probably one of the best things I did my last pregnancy. And I'll link my birth story down below if you want to watch it. I had a pretty good natural birth overall, and I just want to throw that out there if you have not dug into that, because the way birth is portrayed is something that's absolutely terrifying, incredibly painful, almost kills a woman, and it just, there's so much fear around it, especially how it's portrayed in movies and everything, with women just screaming. And honestly, it does not have to be that way. And I'm not saying it's not painful, although I have heard of births that are not painful. I just want to say your mentality and your mental attitude is so crucial, and just removing that element of fear before you give birth, it will serve you so well. So I just wanted to throw that in there. You can feel empowered before you go into birth. There's so many different things you can do, like different affirmations. And for me, it was reading some of May Gaskin's book. I forget which one I was reading. I actually went into labor well before I finished it because I delivered my daughter at 37 weeks. But definitely look into May Gaskin, and I think Birth Without Fear, is that one of her books? Supernatural Childbirth? That's a different book. Anyways, guys, those are 5 things about pregnancy that you may not have heard before, especially if you have not been pregnant. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I would love to know some things down below in the comments that no one told you about pregnancy, or just things that were more unexpected, or messages you'd like to share with people who are newly pregnant or plan to be pregnant. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. I love you guys all so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!